Hey everyone, thank you so much for clicking on this Cowboys Report video. We're going to dive into Mel Kiper's latest two-round mock draft for the Dallas Cowboys. Before we get started though, if you have not already, hit that big red button and subscribe. If it's your first time watching, welcome in. If you've watched a bunch before but you aren't subscribed, not really sure what you're waiting for. No one out there will keep you more updated on the Dallas Cowboys, especially with the NFL draft here. So hit that big red button and subscribe today. And coming up right now, Mel Kiper's latest two-round mock draft for the Dallas Cowboys. Now, before we dive too far in here, a reminder, the Cowboys have two picks in the first two rounds. No surprise there. Number 17 overall and number 51 overall. Now, there were no trades in this particular mock draft. So before we dive in to the pick itself, I want to kind of detail out some of the picks beforehand so you know who was off the board before Kiper made his pick. The notable ones, at least I think for the Cowboys, Derek Brown goes number 7 to the Panthers. Jerry Jeudy goes number 9 to the Jacksonville Jags. C.J. Henderson off the board at 12. C.D. Lamb at 13. And Chaisson at number 16. Now, my suspicion right now is that the Cowboys would prefer to get Chaisson or C.J. Henderson. But there is a very real scenario, and this is what happened in Kiper's mock draft, that both those guys are off the board. So Kiper went with Xavier McKinney, the safety out of Alabama. Now, safety long-term is a need, something Kiper acknowledged in his article on this. You have Clinton-Dix, you have Xavier Woods for now. Both of them are kind of more free safeties. I think Xavier McKinney could step in and be your long-term strong safety. He can still play deep, but I think he'll be very good around the box in that type of role. And of course, if the Cowboys do end up playing more quarters coverage like I suspect, well, McKinney happens to fit very, very well on that front. And it's not really an instant impact need the same way it was before Clinton-Dix was signed. Xavier Woods and Clinton-Dix, though, they are both pending free agents. They're going to be free agents after this season ends. That leaves Darian Thompson and Donovan Wilson. That's not a good grouping at the safety position. The Cowboys undoubtedly would need more help there. Now, we'll talk more about Xavier McKinney, but I have some issues with this pick, mostly because of who else was on the board. In this mock draft scenario, the Dallas Cowboys passed on both Javon Kinlaw, who went one pick later, and Henry Ruggs, who ended up falling to the Philadelphia Eagles. I don't know about you guys. I don't like that. That upsets me. I would not pass on those two guys for Xavier McKinney. Now, Kinlaw's medical concerns are a big factor. Don't get me wrong on that one. And that might be why, if he's there at 17, the Cowboys might choose to pass. But I think Ruggs and Kinlaw are better players than Xavier McKinney. But of course, it's not just about me. I want to hear from you guys as well as we all react to Mel Kiper's mock draft. Who would you have picked? A for Ruggs, B for Kinlaw, C for Xavier McKinney. We're going to talk more about the McKinney side here in a second, but I'm going to make this the pinned comment of this video. So scroll down and cast your votes. Who would you take? Ruggs, Kinlaw, or McKinney, A, B, or C? All right, speaking of McKinney, really a two years of good production. See, the tackles have gone up. The pass breakups did drop. But Xavier McKinney, I think this is important. You see 2 interceptions, 3 interceptions, 2 forced fumbles, 4 forced fumbles. That's valuable to me. Being able to take the football away, maybe not in the same splashy way that Grant Delpit did, but Xavier McKinney does have the ability to make plays on the football. He's been good in that mold. He's been a very good safety for Alabama. Now, I am not yet convinced that McKinney is going to be the best safety in this year's draft. I think Delpit's upside is higher. But if you're taking a player in round 1, you also want to be assured that you don't draft a bust. I don't see McKinney being a bust in the NFL. I think he's going to be a very, very good safety. He's going to be able to make plays on the football, and his ceiling, I think, ends up being fairly high, although maybe not as high as Delpit, but his floor is certainly higher than Grant Delpit. Now, we'll talk about his strengths and weaknesses, but first, got a deal for you guys. Cowboys Nike jerseys are 25% off at chatsports.com/Cowboys Nike. That is chatsports.com/Cowboys Nike. They got Dak. They got Zeke. They got DeMarcus Lawrence. You also get free shipping, by the way, if you use promo code 39SHIP. So I will put that link in the comments and the description of this video. It's chatsports.com/Cowboys Nike. Go save yourself 25% off a brand new Cowboys jersey. All right, so more of the positives here, right, for Xavier McKinney. I mentioned good tackler, has played both strong and free safety at Alabama. Quite simply, McKinney was almost a third of his time lined up in the box, at the slot, or at free safety. That versatility carries value in the NFL and for the Cowboys, and there is that ability to take the football away. I think McKinney has tight end stopper upside in the NFL. He was used that way at Alabama, and for the most part, he fared pretty well in that area. I don't love him at 17, but I'll tell you what, you could do a whole lot worse. You could take like Kenneth Murray, for example. Now, on the negative side, because you have to acknowledge both sides of a player, otherwise you're just going to be disappointed by them. I don't love him in open space in coverage. I think he has a tendency to get turned around. I think he gets a little bit uncomfortable. I like him better, more in contained areas when it comes to man-to-man coverage. He can still play kind of some deep zone, though, of course. McKinney's a good athlete. I don't think he is a great athlete. I think that does kind of impact his ceiling. Is he going to be a true dynamic number one single high coverage safety like an Earl Thomas? No, I don't think he is. That's also why I think that his range in the draft kind of starts around pick number 17. Now, speaking of the NFL draft, we will be live on our main Chat Sports YouTube channel, youtube.com/chatsportstv, for all 7 rounds. Every single pick that is made, we will break it down. We will discuss it. So if you want NFL draft coverage that actually focuses on the players being picked, we got you guys covered. So go subscribe, youtube.com/chatsportstv. We were the most watched internet stream of the NFL draft. Sure, it'll happen again this year. So if you want the best draft coverage, go do it on our main YouTube channel. Let's move on now to the notable picks before 51. We're now on to round 2. AJ Epinesa, Grant Delpit, Justin Matabike, Damon Arnett, and KJ Hamler all slide off the board around 10 picks before the Cowboys. I didn't think Epinesa was going to be there. No surprise there. Some of the guys you mentioned, Fulton, Zach Bond, and of course other guys from round 1, they of course were off the board. But in a very pleasant surprise, Jeff Gladney was on the board for the Dallas Cowboys in round 2. And although I was kind of lukewarm on the Xavier McKinney pick, I love the pick of Jeff Gladney by Mel Kiper. I'm not convinced he's going to be there at 51. I don't think he should be. But this was a smart, and I love this addition by the Dallas Cowboys. Look, they've got to add cornerback help. We all know that. It's a desperate need for this organization, for this team right now. Gladney, I think, could come in and instantly compete for playing time among the Jordan Lewis, Anthony Brown, Chidobe Awuzie combo, or trio, I should say, at corner. So I really like that pick by the Cowboys and by taking Jeff Gladney. Really smart move. So with Mel Kiper's first and second round picks known, grade this mock draft for me, and I'll make this a comment so you guys can reply to it as well. A, B, C, D, or F. I was lukewarm on McKinney. Maybe that's a C, or maybe even a bit lower since considering who you passed on. But Jeff Gladney is a straight A for me. So I'm going to give that one, maybe overall it's a B, B minus, somewhere in that range. Now, I do want to acknowledge some of the other players who were on the board. Oh, boy. He had some great picks and some great options here, huh? Jalen Reagor is there. Trayvon Diggs is there. Laviska Shenault ended up not being taken in the first 2 rounds. Julian Okwara, Marlon Davidson. Man, you got some great players on the board at 51. Whole lot of directions you could have ended up going. I think corner was the right way to go because you do still need help, and I don't love the options in round 3. I think there'll be some good receivers there. But you could have gone with Trayvon Diggs as well. So which corner would you guys have taken? I want to hear from you. Type T for Trayvon Diggs or J for Jeff Gladney. Which corner would you have wanted the Cowboys to take if they were both somehow on the board in round 2? Look, I've mentioned cornerback being a need before. You're fine in terms of bodies on your roster. You don't just need depth. You've got, frankly, I think, good depth with Awuzie, Lewis, Brown, Canada, and even Goodwin, mainly as a special teamer. But what the Cowboys need is the Cowboys need to find a more reliable potential number 1 guy. Now, maybe Gladney only ends up being a top-end number 2, but I still might take that. Maybe Diggs is in the same boat. But if you can address the cornerback need, maybe it's only in round 1. Maybe you address it in round 2, Anthony, kind of like they did with Awuzie and Lewis, because those guys are pending free agents beyond Anthony Brown. I like what Gladney brings to this team potentially. The completion percentage did kind of drop off in 2019, or should say went up in 2019. But the ball skills in terms of breaking passes up has always been there. He's not going to be an elite interception guy. Diggs probably fits that mold a little bit better. But Gladney at pick number 51, when frankly, I think he should be getting round 1 consideration, is awesome value for the Dallas Cowboys. And you think about it from a just purely pass breakup perspective, 43 career pass breakups and 42 career starts at TCU. Now, that's not exactly the whole interception takeaway value, but being able to break up passes does still carry value, at least for me, and for projecting towards the NFL. He's a good athlete, too. Now, he ran a 4.48 at the NFL Combine, but I do want to make it clear, he needed a meniscus trim, needed surgery on his knee. So a 4.48 with needing knee surgery, still pretty darn good. He plays bigger and tougher than his size, but that is a concern for me. He's only 5'10.5", 191, pretty good arm length relative to that height, but that is a little bit more on the undersized, both height and weight, than what you want. And it brings up concerns for me in terms of his ability to hold up against bigger and stronger wideouts. Now, that was not an issue in the Big 12, but he's going to be facing Big 12 above caliber receivers every single week, so it is a concern for me in the end. He also does turn 24 as a rookie. Again, the testing wasn't what we'd hoped for. I thought he might run in the 4.3s, but I'm going to blame that on the knee surgery. But overall, look, getting Jeff Gladney in round 2 would be a home run selection for the Cowboys. Helps balance out what I thought was kind of an iffy move by the Cowboys to get McKinney in round 1 in Mel Kiper's latest NFL mock draft. Hey Cowboys fans, thanks for watching the Cowboys Report. If you haven't already, click right here to subscribe to our channel for all the best Cowboys coverage on the internet. That's news, rumors, highlights, mailbags, film studies, and a whole lot more. And I'm making your lives a little bit easier as well with the next Cowboys Report video right here.